Welcome to Draw One Last Breath Horror Podcast. My name's Matt.
And I'm Paul.
Welcome to episode 95, and yes, we got a great one for you this time. We are going to be reviewing Censor from Prano Bailey Bond, her latest film, and we also have our movie from the vault, 2009's Jennifer's Body. How the hell are you, young sir?
Young sir? Yeah, I'm good, dude. Looking forward to this episode, mate. I mean, we played around with a couple of ideas for the main review, and I found this absolute beauty of a movie for $1.99 on Amazon Prime. Yeah, this is going to be a fun conversation. Yeah, really good, mate. What have you been up to? You been watching anything else?
I've been watching a couple of things. I finally got round to watching Werewolves Within.
Ooh, I mean, I know we're not doing it for our main review, so there must be a reason why, Matt. Tell us what you thought about it.
I liked it. It wasn't as good as Scare Me as last movie, wasn't it? Nowhere near as good as that. I enjoyed it. The dialogue was great, and there's some of the shots are brilliant. And it's really, really well written. It's just it was just it lagged in the middle a bit for me. It slowed up a little bit.
Yeah, it was a Who's Done It with a werewolf. I like this. Again, the dialogue was quirky, and I thought it might make for but you're right. After watching Censor and going, I know which one I'd rather pull apart. But yeah, it was good. Well worth watching. It's free. It's on Netflix now. So definitely.
Yeah, I think it'll get a lot of eyes on it, and it seems to be trending quite well at the moment. So, by no means is it a bad film at all. I'm not saying it's a bad film. I enjoyed it. However, I think I enjoyed Scare Me more. I think this was going to ramp it up, but it was on a par. But yeah, it was good. It was good. I also rewatched. Don't know why I rewatched. I rewatched Quiet Place 2.
Ooh, what was it like on a second watch?
Yeah, the wife hadn't seen it, so I was like, "We've got to watch it." So I purchased it to watch it because I don't think it's streaming anywhere. But yeah, it's fucking such a good movie again. On the second rewatch, it's just brilliant. I think I love it as much as the first. But yeah, it's great watching that. What about you? What have you been up to? What have you been watching?
Oh, so I've still been trying to get through some TV series. So I finished Chucky.
Oh, bloody hell.
And I have to say, it was so much fucking fun, man. Honestly, for anyone who's a fan of the old Child's Play series and stuff like that, it pulls bits and bobs from every single movie in the franchise and continues the story along. So if you kind of missed a couple at the end, you may not completely get all the characters and all the references, which is fine because, there is a bit of fan service, but it also continues a great story for someone who wants to just get into Chucky at the same time. It's a fresh new story as well as embracing the past. It's a real good mix. The kills are absolutely fantastic, so much so that Chucky does a great rundown of all the kills in the series right at the end.
Really?
Self-referential. I love that. Definitely continuing for season 2. I know it's been, we've said that it's been picked up for a season 2 and well worth it. Deservedly so. It's really creative, I have to say, and I really enjoyed all the characters, and some of the old ones are back. I mean, spoilers, guys. Matt hasn't seen it, but I don't know if he's going to watch it. But 3, 2, 1, out of the room. So Andy Barclay is back with his babysitter from Child's Play 2 as sort of Chucky assassins, which is pretty funny. Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah, I saw she come back online. Yeah,
as Jennifer Tilly again, which is fucking great. And then we get a nice ending, and we get Tiff.
Oh God!
So it's just really, really good fun. There are some great moments in it. I would recommend watching this. Maybe a bit stretched out, but well enough. It's good. It's good enough. It's well done, and it's got the girl from one of the leads. She's from Daybreak. Do you remember her? What we liked in Daybreak, the sort of younger girl who's real cocky and sweary.
Oh yeah. I remember
so she's. I might rewatch that series actually. So yeah, watch that. enough. Watched the latest episode of Yellow Jackets,
Cool.
which I'm still loving. I'm like, it seemed to hit a point where like a bit of a lost moment, in my opinion. But I'm thinking the next 2 episodes, it's only got 2 to go of this season. They're going to tell me some big fucking secrets, man. Because there's the envelope is open for something big. So I'm looking forward to that. But it still continues to impress me.
Cool. Excellent stuff.
Yeah, that's it from the watchers. I think we should get onto some lovely little bit of news. Matt, what you got for us?
I got a couple of bits. Have you seen? Right, there's obviously a couple of new trailers going around. I think I tagged you in one. Studio 666.
No. Okay, so we'll go there first, shall we? Studio 666. Yes,
we will. Yes.
The new movie starring the Foo Fighters, the whole band, not just Dave Grohl, the whole band.
Pat Smear, Dave Grohl, Taylor Hawkins, and the other 2 that no one remembers their names.
It's funny because I'm reading the autobiography at the moment. Autobiography that came out. I got it for Christmas, and he calls his Studio 606.
Oh, right, okay.
It's quite funny, but this looks really good.
Yeah, it's mad. I was impressed by this trailer.
Not done for the sake of it, by the looks of things. Let's get the Foo Fighters on and create it looks like We Summon the Dark. Just something. There's Deathgasm. Do you know there was something like
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. That sort of level of production, Evil Dead-ish.
Looks like it's going to be some good gore, like comedy gore.
Yeah, they just look
maybe
like
Tucker versus Dale sort of styly kind of thing. I hope.
Mate, I'm all for this. This looks fun. We're definitely, if we can pick this up and run with it when it comes out, we'll definitely be reviewing this. I mean, I'm a big Foo Fighters fan, so yeah, excited for that one.
It looks really, really good. And then there's the other trailer that obviously we've got to talk about is Ty West's new film, X.
Oh my God.
I mean, I love Ty West movies, man. You know, we've reviewed, one on the podcast before, and I think he's an amazing director. But to have A24 backing him as well, shit the bed. I mean, it's got like Texas Chainsaw vibes written all over it. But then it just looks fucking mental. What do you think?
Yeah, I was a bit blown away from it. Like, it looked like something I haven't seen in a while. It's got that real, I don't know, it looked quite unique.
But like A24, mate, it's gonna be weird as fuck, isn't it?
And I saw the weird. I mean, it's basically a movie that, from what we can gather from the trailer, they're making a porno in somebody's in
the middle of nowhere, obviously.
Someone's barn that they're not telling, and there's something not right with the lady of the house,
the farmer's wife.
And I think we get a little bit of a bit of a murder spree or something, some kind of like nuance slasher. But it stars Brittany Snow, who's in the Pitch Perfect sort of franchise.
It's also got, I can't remember, forgive me, I forget her name, if you can pull it up, is the girl that was in The Babysitter 2.
Yeah, Jenna Ortega. She was fantastic in that.
That's it, yeah. Like, she's been in a couple of like horror-based things, hasn't she, lately?
Well, she's also in Scream.
Oh, the new one?
Yeah, she's also in the trailer. She's the one who picks up the phone.
Yeah. She's done loads of horror, man. She's gone a long way since Kids TV. But yeah, I'm looking well forward to that. A24 all over that, mate. You know? Yeah,
I mean, Hereditary, Midsummer, we love A24, so this one is definitely...
Oh my God, love his films.
Well,
I just bought
House of the Devil VHS, House of the Devil VHS, mate.
I just bought one of his movies called The Sacrament that I really want to watch. I haven't watched it yet, and I've got it on DVD because I can't find it streaming, so I bought it on like eBay for like £2, but it's meant to be a fucking awesome film.
Your job this year is to get...
Yes, Matt. Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, your job this year, Mr. Cartner, is to go off and find Ty West and let's see if we can sit down and have a chat with him.
I fucking wish. I wish. We'll see. But if you know anybody's contact details who want to come on the show, just give us an email at draw1lastbreathpod@hotmail.com. Anyway, You got any news? What you
That
got?
was it was mainly around the trailers, those two trailers, to be
Yeah.
honest. I did see a little bit around a new horror movie called All Fun and Games.
Okay.
Which is sort of coming, I think looks like it's coming from the Russo brothers production
Ooh.
network. But it's starring, this is quite interesting, it's starring Asa Butterfield, obviously from Sex Education, Ender's Game, stuff like that. And it also stars Natalia Dyer, obviously played Nancy from Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, Stranger Things.
Yeah, so you've got another, she's been in a good couple of movies, mate, so I'm quite looking forward to that. It should be an interesting, I mean, it's not much of a synopsis. There's not much of a synopsis apart from like the movie follows a group of siblings who find themselves in a game with a demonic twist. Sounds a bit Ready or Not to me.
Could be. Love Ready or Not. That's great. I want to rewatch that as well.
Speaking of which, Ready or Not is on Disney Plus.
Oh, is it?
Yes, to stream.
Oh,
There you go, you can rewatch it.
brilliant. That's good. You got any other bits of news before I babble on?
Go, Babylon, what you got?
I've seen a picture. They're bringing out Stranger Things brickheads from Lego. 11 and a Demogorgon. Looks fucking quite cool.
I do like
pictures.
I do like the Brickheads series.
They're pretty cool, aren't they? I've got some of the Halloween ones. Also, I don't know if you've seen in the news, there was a little bit of update on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. Well, not remake, or new film. I'm going to read a little blurb from bloodydisgusting.com. Last year, Netflix made the surprise announcement that Fede Alvarez will be produce Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a sequel to Tobe Hooper's original classic. It will be slicing its way onto the streaming service on February 18th, 2022. So not
that's great. That's quite soon.
Yeah, and we've been since provided with a teaser trailer and a couple of images. Today brings a new image, particularly exciting. The new movie is decades later, sequel only to Tobe Hooper's original Texas Chainsaw, with the original actress Olwyn Fleur, Mandy, taking over the iconic role as Sally from the late Marilyn Burns, courtesy of USA Today. Preview, Sally returning below. There's a picture of her. So after nearly 50 years, she's returning to Leatherface is returning to terrorize a new group of young friends. So that's pretty crazy, man. They're bringing back like old cast members of the original. So that's pretty crazy.
Seems to be the fashionable thing to do at the moment, you know, get all the oldies working.
Should be. I hope it's good. And my final little bit of news. Have you seen the new pin from Mr. Alleycat Graphics?
I have.
John's new pin. I've made an order.
Yeah, you got a purchase coming, have you?
Yep. So it's a brilliant, another pin. He's knocked out of the park with this one. Halloween 3. The 3 masks.
Yeah.
Fucking superb. Go and order it.
Absolutely incredible season. I love that movie. That movie is so fucking weird and so random that it's sort of in the Halloween pantheon and stuff like that. But yeah, so much comes from that movie, including that wacky theme tune. So yeah, well done, John.
Yeah, go and get it. It's on Alleycat Graphics. So go buy one. Excellent. Well, that's all the news we've got. Shall we move on to our main review?
This depiction is dangerous.
Come on, Enid.
I'm cutting it.
Butchery, sadism, murder.
A wave of depraved and corrupt horror video.
Confusing fiction with reality.
Doug Smart, producer, Ident Investment Films. Maybe Enid could watch my latest Frederick North submission. Wanted a woman's eye on his film.
This episode's main review is called Censor. Here's a little synopsis for you. After viewing a strangely familiar video nasty, Enid, a film censor, sets out to solve the past mystery of her sister's disappearance, embark on a quest that dissolves the line between fiction and reality. I mean, that's a bit of a weird one. Okay, this movie is basically almost about the BBFC in the fucking 80s when they were banning video nasties. This is about the people that did that work, took on the champion job role of literally dissecting every movie that came in, pulling it apart and sending it back and banning them, only for them to end up under the counter of your local video store. What a fucking world to live in, where you've got to go into a video shop and say, "Oh, have you got Cannibal Holocaust?" or something like that, like some dodgy porno movie. Fucking great. This was really interesting for me. What did you think about it after I obviously pushed you into watching it?
I don't know with this one. I think we might be divided. It's such a strange movie, which is not a bad thing. I just don't know if I liked it or not. I think the subject matter is very interesting. I find really, really interesting, and we'll get into that. But I just don't know if I liked it as a film, as in whole. And I might be the first person that said that, because I've seen all people just absolute raving reviews of this movie. And it was shown at Fright Fest as well, wasn't it, last year? So yeah, I don't know, but I think I need to talk about it because I've not spoke to anybody about it, because I think you're probably the only person I know that's watched it.
Well, let me get started on it. I mean, first, like, you're right. The subject matter is, for me, immediately intriguing. It's like a really fascinating look into the censorship of video nasties in the 80s, which is really sort of close to my heart, in buying some of the banned ones that sort of got re-released later. Having not lived in the era and appreciating the sort of this level of banned movies, it's just exciting. But to watch the way that it was filmed, I thought was so really interesting. It's almost like the lens cap that they put on it was that to show you all the palette and all the tones that were from that era. You got to watch Neve Algar, who's plays the main title role of Enid Baines, and you got to watch her sort of almost impassively watch these movies and just literally take notes and saying that's coming out. And she's sort of she seems really into her job. She's just doesn't seem to be phased by what's on the screen. And we got to see some of these things on an old TV box. And it's really interesting. I mean, some of the movies are real, some of the movies are fake. I like the way that something they put together. And it was just,
I think she's like, the thing is, she's like, she sees it as a job to do, doesn't she? Where she's like, basically, this is my job. I've got to do it as efficiently as possible. It's whether she's dissecting the actual what's going on to what she should be doing, like ticking boxes of what's wrong and what is wrong. And it's like she's so focused on her work, she hardly notices the actual film.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Exactly. Exactly right. And it doesn't really sort of go down, it sort of starts to go, and I think some stuff's happened to her in the past. So we get these sort of moments where she is sort of focused on a moment in time with her sister, you know. Something's happened to them when she was younger. Sister's obviously wandered off in the woods and she was there when it happened, and she's never been seen again. And she starts to see her in the movies that she's watching. It's almost as if like you get the feeling that it ends up being like a sort of mission for her, where she sort of starts to see her sister pop up in these sort of almost snuff movies, some of them, and she's sort of tracking her and trying to find the directors and stuff like that. That's the sort of way the story sort of mainly unfolds. And I thought that was a really sort of like interesting, where along with that, you get this whole, this was sort of a weird thing, because it was overlaid with the main plot, but it didn't really make that much sense, is that she let one through. Mm-hmm. They let a movie through, and it was one of the ones that she did, and maybe it should have got banned, and somebody watched it. It's that whole unfortunate Jamie Bolger moment where, you know, they watch a movie and the movies get blamed for the serial killer or the killing that's actually taking place.
But then they obviously focused on the fact of the case that you're talking about. The man claims that he couldn't remember doing anything, and the fact that he was in some sort of trance, which kind of marries up kind of what situation she gets into, kind of.
Yeah, it definitely.
Which is like, is there something out there that's doing this to people like without them knowing because they're watching these movies. It breaches the kind of like the subject of, if you watch these movies, are you going to go out and do this shit? If you watch these movies time and time and time again, do they turn you into psycho or don't they?
Yeah.
Or is it in your head or is it not?
Yeah, and considering the character of Enid, like, is so impassive at the start, and like, you know, she's literally not being affected these movies, treating them very much like, like this job, and then suddenly it's when she almost gets the public eye, people ringing her on the phone. What do you thought that was quite funny? Because obviously, you know, phones are ex-directory to a certain degree, but at a point you could pick any number from a Yellow Pages and ring them up. So if you knew her name, she could just get loads of like bastardized phone calls and calling her a bitch and all sorts of stuff. And that was sort of what was happening, which was quite interesting. But I like some of the shots. I like the way that they filmed some of the video nasties that you saw. Well, that was pretty cool. That's where almost the gore and the grossness comes from. It made you feel a little bit uneasy. When she's being followed home in the subways, those scenes are pretty creepy. And for some random reason, she just walked into the dark.
There's like some scenes, right, where she's walking home from work, like the subway bit where she's walking down the subway and she thinks she sees her sister. It's almost like, it's weird. I don't know if it's intentional. I'd like to find out if it isn't or not. I don't know how I would. But there's a film called Possession with Sam Neill in it. And there's a famous subway scene, really famous scene where this woman's like almost possessed in a subway. It's mental. But like the sister's wearing almost the exact same kind of dress and it's all the same kind of subway. I really want to know. I would really be interested if that's a complete lift from that movie as like a nod, but I don't know. But regardless of that, it's always nice to see old Michael Smiley turn up though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really sort of one of this is where the story turns, I suppose, when we sort of follow it. She sort of tries to follow his career after watching one of his movies.
He's just a sleazy, like, horror director, but like extreme horror director, kind of sleazy. Just, he's a 10%er, isn't he, on Michael Smiley? When he turns up, he like makes the film 10% better because he's just horrible, isn't he? He's like,
great. Yeah, he's great in Kill List. I know, man. It's like that sort of thing.
Oh yeah, Kill List, brilliant film.
But it's the first time we see her rattled after watching this movie called Don't Go in the Church. And it's just like this axe swinging is like visceral, against like, the sort of the protagonist or whatever. And it's like, she gets a bit startled when she thinks she sees her sister go into the church. The other sister follows in and just starts hacking at her. And that's like quite a very gory scene. She's sort of almost like, oh fuck, is this my sister? Is she dead? What's going on?
That's the point, isn't it? Where she's like, no, this is definitely linked to my sister. And then where she thinks that it's definitely like, this is that director saying, you know, I've got the answers to everything that you don't know about. I know where your sister is. You know, this is the film, I'm making it, and this is going to be the last feature that she's in, or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Really strange.
I was thinking, like, do they get to, like, mix up their day with, like, you know, comedy movies? They must have to, like, look at every movie and rate it.
Yeah.
I mean, I love movies, you know, these sorts of movies as much as the next person. I was thinking, could I get a job at the BBB?
You could never get that job, because you'd be like going past, yeah, that's fine. but you know, this was an age where it was just like, they were obviously just like sending things back and getting it cut. Like, it's too much of this, too much of that. And it's hard for people to make films like this. And it's just like, but it captures that really well, I think. And and it is that determined thing of what's right and what's wrong. How much did you cut out and how much did you do? And how, if you let one slip, there might be something that happens, but that's the nature of it, isn't it?
I thought it was a nice touch with going into the video shop, you know, and like her being in the job that she's in, sort of pretty much knows every title of every video nasty, and sort of she wasn't being the inspector. She was trying to get a copy of a movie, and obviously you get the uneasiness of the guy behind him. Oh, should I really give him? He's like, oh, come on, I know, I've watched this, I've seen this scene, and that scene, and it's like, fucking hell, love. Fair enough. Here's a copy.
You're sick.
Yeah, and she just inspects it through that lens of seeing her sister.
We've got to talk about that bit where she goes to the director's house. Well, not the director, it's the producer's house, isn't it?
Yeah, Doug his name is.
Yeah. Because that was a nice little surprise. Spoilers. We're going to talk some spoilers, but we're spoiling it all the way through anyway. But his death, pretty fucking gruesome.
Fucking great. I thought that was spot on. He was obviously thinking he's going to get his end away.
Yeah.
Weird little bloke. And he accidentally slips over and ends up with his head impaled on a ward that he won, which is nice. It goes through the back of his head and through his mouth, and he's getting this great gurgling blood. Oh, it's a really good death. I really sort of...
Yeah, it's quite cool.
Yeah.
Quite surprising. Yeah.
She looked pretty vindicated, I thought, like after she'd done that. She didn't really seem any remorse. It was like, oh, all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then she's pretty much on that road after that. She's like, right, I'm going to go and find the bloody production, the production location. And she sort of turns up into this really spooky, sort of area, with this really weird middle of the woods, makeup artist is there. And she's like, yeah. And suddenly's like, right, I guess the only way that I can do this is going to be in the movie. So, to get to meet the director, the famous director that she wants to meet. And then she's sort of in a bit of this is where it sort of crosses between, like, reality and fantasy, I suppose. It's like, what is she seeing? She's in sort of a weird little trance, I guess, at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. It's a really weird one. It's like, is she hallucinating? Is she, like, completely, like, not, is she removed from us? I mean, she's obviously, like, massively grief-stricken. She's got all this kind of guilt on her shoulders that her sister's missing because it's her fault, and her parents blame her, but not, do you know what I mean? Because they don't tell her this, but she still thinks so. And it's just like, I don't know, she just obviously wants to find out the truth and find out what's going on and reunite with her sister. And there's just a whole sequence that's really fucking weird.
Yeah, she's sort of driving this by creating almost her own snuff movie in her head. But the sequences that are happening, are pretty, well, they're real to everyone else around it. I mean, she's sort of in amongst the movie that's happening, and the director who's sort of giving direction, but it's very empowering. And suddenly when it flits to the reality of what she ends up doing to that guy, with the axe, it's just like,
because in her head she's thinking she's saving her sister, right?
Yeah, that's what I kind of get. And she's not. It's like, you know that she's on a movie set. Then it sort of switches back and forth between their reactions to her literally going to town on this fucking guy, and then the fact that, oh no, I'm not, what are you talking about? I'm not your sister, and all this sort of stuff, running through the woods after her, and then her sort of misty eyes. Doesn't she take the sister with her?
Yeah, she obviously, in her head, she's hugging her sister and kind of reunited with her, and she's like, oh my god, I found you, and her sister's all happy. But I did quite like this bit, the bit where she obviously, like, kidnaps her and then obviously takes her back to her parents to show her that she's found. But literally, it's flittering between the reality and her world, and literally the woman's going, oh my god, she kidnapped me, she's crazy, and then quickly splits back to her going, oh, it's all beautiful, like, it's all great, fucking
rainbows and stuff like that.
And it reminds me a bit like the end of St. Maud. Spoilers. Don't listen anymore if you haven't seen St. Maud. But that bit at the end where reality versus, what they're thinking in their head, kind of thing.
It was. I thought it's really like a real clever way to do it. It was.
Yeah.
I would have definitely loved it if this was, Fright Fest. This would have given me a bit of it was definitely a clapping moment. I thought for me, I liked the journey. I liked her character. I thought she was an incredible actress, and I liked the way it was shot. I liked some of the really crazy deaths, the blood, the gore, the way it was shot, all the geeky stuff, and the music through it. Yeah, this one really sort of like, I was like, yeah, I didn't falter. This was really good. I really enjoyed this one.
I did enjoy it. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as you, just because for me it just slowed down, and it was such a, and don't get me wrong, I don't mind a slow burn, but it was just a bit too slow to get to the point, and that for me personally, it just falls a little bit for that, but not to, say it's not a bad film. I don't think it's bad. I really enjoyed it. The subject's really interesting. It's weird as fuck, and I love weird as fuck movies, and I can't wait to see like what's next from the director. So, because obviously they've got lots of praise on this, and I think she's obviously got like some really good ideas. So yeah, brilliant. I'd love to see some more.
What would you rate this if you had to be asked on a podcast?
I'd probably go, for me, it's probably like a 6 breaths out of 10 for me.
Okay.
I'd say. Maybe I need to rewatch it. I don't know.
For me, it's an 8 pushing a 9.
Ooh.
I really, really, really like this one.
Maybe it's because there's so much hype. I've seen so much hype around the film. Maybe I was just expecting a bit too much. Maybe I should have gone in with a bit lower expectation. I don't know. But no, that's fair enough.
I suppose with me, I went in, I just saw, I don't even know how I come across this one, to be honest. Don't remember. Don't know.
We've spoke about it before, definitely.
Okay. But yeah, I'm glad it was a nice cheap buy on Amazon Prime, $1.99. So if you're giving it an 8/9, if I'm giving it 8/9, you're giving it 6. We'll give it a draw on last breath, 7.
That's
7
fair.
out of 10.
That's fair.
That's not bad. But yeah, this one for me, I really enjoyed it, and I definitely like to watch it again. It's fucking sick. Right, on to, that's our first movie review for 2022. Our next movie is a little movie called Scream that we're going to be watching in a couple of weeks.
Can't fucking wait. Can't wait for this.
We've got our tickets booked, and we will be discussing that on the next episode. Cannot bloody wait. I haven't seen any early reviews, so
I'm staying away, mate.
Keeping stum. But yeah, come back on the next episode to listen to what we think about Scream.
It's a Scream, baby!
Alright, cool. Right then, let's get on to our movie from the vault.
You and me are going out tonight. Wear something cute, okay?
You always do what Jennifer tells you to do.
It's just that I like the same things that she likes.
Hey, Jennifer. You look really pretty.
Why don't you just come by my place? Well, this is random.
This isn't really your house, is it?
We can play mommy and daddy.
No way.
We always share your bed when we have slumber parties. Jennifer's evil.
I know.
No, I mean, she's actually evil. Not high school evil. Chip is looking really cute to me lately. How is he tasting these days? You are never a good friend. You could have anybody that you want. Why Chip? You're killing people. No, I'm killing boys. Are you scared? Thought you only murdered boys. I go both ways. I will finish you if I have to. Okay. You can barely finish gym class.
So this movie from the vault is 2009's movie starring Megan Fox. It's Jennifer's Body. So, I looked up all the plots online, and they're all fucking shit. Really are. So, I'm not going to do a plot synopsis on this. We're just going to start chatting about it, because I'm just going to go out there and say, this was fucking awesome watching this game.
Right, I could give it a little go. So, young teenage girl gets turned into a succubus.
Well, apparently. But there's loads of different things. This is why this film's so good, because there's no right answer.
Layered.
It's an interesting movie. So you've got like this kind of really kind of cool dynamic. This film's about kind of relationships and acceptance and, you know, there's all different things, because I went down a bit of a rabbit hole with it and stuff. So anyway, let's just get into it. So this movie is directed by Karen Kusama. Obviously, she's done quite a lot of TV, Invitation, TV Outsiders. She's done your favourite thing at the moment, Yellow Jackets. She's done an episode of that, which is cool. And it's written by Diablo Cody. Diablo Cody wrote Juno, Tully. She's done a couple of other things. She's written a book. She's a really interesting writer, I think, anyway. And obviously it stars Megan Fox and Amanda Seyfried. And you've got a couple of people that show up in this, which is brilliant. Adam Brody from the OC. Do you remember that?
Yep.
Crazy. And loads of other people. But with this movie, it's...
Well, yeah, you get... What did you say? Did you say Chris Pratt?
Wow, he turns up for about 2 seconds. Hardly worth a mention, is he?
Well, J.K. Simmons is in it as well.
Yeah. Again, I want to get onto his character later. But, yeah, I mean, when I first saw this movie, I think I went to cinema to watch this, and it was a really, really limited run. And I don't think I enjoyed it, but no way did I enjoy it as much as I watched it this time. I don't know whether I just matured a bit since then. But it's fucking awesome. I fucking love this movie. What about you?
Well, I remember when this movie came out, there was a lot of hype around it. It was all around Megan Fox, swimming in a lake, and the paparazzi trying to get a picture of her tits.
Oh, really?
There was a lot of that. That's the thing that's surrounding this. So this movie was just like already, as a young horny boy, was around like another over-sexualized sort of performance by Megan Fox. That's kind of what you went in at. Now I know that I definitely watched it the first time with probably that lens. Coming back to it now, I'm like, fuck, I didn't remember half of it. And I'm like, I must have literally just been fast forwarding it if I could. I don't know. But like,
I went in there with a horror head on. I didn't go in there as I mean, obviously Megan was huge at the time when we were that age. How old were we in 2009?
It's during the Transformers time. You know,
well, yeah, I know, but she was huge. She was in every lads magazines that don't really exist nowadays. But she was in everything, like FHM, Zoo Nuts, you know, all over the internet. She was marketed as literally just like a body that everybody loved. That's how she was, wasn't she? Let's be honest.
Agreed. But there's so much more to this movie. And I think she does an absolutely outstanding performance in this, as well as like Needy, you know, Amanda Seyfried.
Yeah.
The two of them together are absolutely fantastic. And obviously there's a lot of, again, like with Wild Things, it's like, oh no, there's another couple of young actresses having a lesbian kiss. You know, that was the thing. But moving past all that, the movie is focused on their relationship, and it is a coming of age, exploring their the young person's sexuality, but like with a very, and actually quite a mature head on it. And once you sort of listen to all the dialogue and sort of watch it back and understand all like the quirks and stuff like that, it's about the sort of, especially now with the Me Too movement as well, it's about women empowerment. You know, it's got that sort of this stand on it. She, you know, what happens at the start of this movie when she goes off in a van with a young rock band to kind of what we think is going to be a horrible date rape scenario.
'Cause that's horrible, isn't it? That bit where
Yeah.
this shot where she's in the van and you're like, oh, that's creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, it really is creepy and horrible, isn't it?
But it turns out to be some kind of like cop killing, which when you get to see later is actually really quite hilarious. And it is a quirky black comedy at its heart as well as getting all these sort of like feminist tones over it. And it's her revenge on, on men's desires, I guess.
To a certain amount. Yeah, definitely. And also, I think it's also about toxic relationships, isn't it? Like the relationship between them is they're supposed to be so tight, but in fact, they're very far removed from each other.
Yeah, where Jennifer is
not
like
a healthy relationship.
The hot one. They are definitely like being they're what do they say, sandbox friends. So they're friends forever. But she is like a hot flag girl, which is quite interesting. Not a cheerleader, a flag girl. But they have this like intimate love for each other at the same time. And there's definitely some stuff that's happened in the past, sleepovers, exploring the people, there's that sort of thing. It's interesting that Needy out of the two is the one with the boyfriend as well. Even though she's like bred as the dorky one, which is quite interesting. Although she gets confident as the movie goes. And what's quite interesting is that I forgot how it starts is with her in a mental institution, kicking the crap out of one of the...
Did you watch the extended version or the theatrical?
Oh, I don't know. What did I watch it on? I watched it on Disney Plus, so I think it was the extended.
Oh, it's on Disney Plus?
It's Disney Plus, so yeah.
Oh, cool.
So it definitely had bits
it
definitely had bits I hadn't seen before. In terms of like when she was in the...
I think there's like 5 minutes in it.
Yeah, but there's like when she was in the mental institution or wherever she is in, the stuff that was explored with the demon. Obviously, we're skipping right ahead, but I don't really care. The fact that she was bitten at the end of the movie by Jennifer's character, and the fact that a little bit of the demon went into her. Don't remember any of that.
No.
Don't remember the hotel room at the end either. So I'm sure there was some extra bits in there. So yeah, that was all really cool. Like seeing her sort of side of it. When I thought it was all centered around Megan Fox, the Amanda Seyfried character has some very integral parts.
Yeah,
more so.
It's probably more so, isn't it? It's because it's told, whole story is told from her point of kind of view, which is really interesting. We've got to talk some of the kills in this. Like one of my favourite kills has got to be where she gets the kind of like jock guy to go in the woods, and like all the animals are just standing around watching, which is really fucking funny. And then she literally does her face, comes alive and just fucking hacks away at his fucking midsection.
Yeah.
Just fucking crazy.
So I did a little bit of a slow-mo pause on this moment. Yeah. And the CGI that they did for her face is absolutely astounding, the way that they've done that. When the moment where her mouth sort of explodes and rips, you get all this blood splatter as well. And it's like a shot that you wouldn't get to see if you really see that in non-slow-mo. It's really, really, the level of detail is incredible. And that's there's some really interesting like one-liners and stuff like that she produces all along the movie. I wrote down one, which is quite funny. It smells like Thai food in here. Have you been fucking?
I love that line. And I like the way she says, use your titties. They're smart bombs.
Yes,
smart bombs.
That's the whole thing. It's like, it's embracing it's written by a woman. It's really embracing their sort of sexuality in it, and sort of
directed by a woman as well.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Play Hello Titty with the barman. That's another great line. Just to get a drink, I'm gonna go. How are you gonna get served? I'm gonna go and play Hello Titty with the barman. She's fucking Chris Pratt, who's like a I don't know, young.
He shows up for like 2 seconds. I like the where she's like, he's into something like he's into faggot rock, and I have a bigger cock than he does.
Yeah, there was that, and then they started talking about her because she was like, come see the band, and they're trying to work out if she's a virgin, and she's not actually a virgin. She's, I'm not even a backdoor virgin, thanks to Roman. It's like, there's another like a throwaway comment. It's like, what?
Yeah.
But why? Okay, so here's an interesting thing. The whole start of this is the fact that the bar catches on fire, and it sort of starts almost like a Heathers storyline, you know, where sort of like everyone's mourning, you know, students that are dying, and it's sort of like, that was quite interesting. But why the fuck does the bar set on fire?
Well, no, I can't even remember. But yeah, that's so clever, that bit. There's one shot that I think is cool when you were just talking about the whole kind of school's down because people are dying, and there's just been this fire, and this is an emotional song that's played about 50 times throughout the whole movie. But there's a beautiful shot where Jennifer's walking down the hallway and she's all lit up. She's like happy, she's radiant, and everything around is like black and white. I love that bit.
Yeah,
like,
they're all in like this grey sort of
yeah,
clothes that they've been put on. She's in pink, and she just looks absolutely like, what's going on? I don't really get around it. And there's that sort of almost Mean Girls 90s, or like that sort of mid 2000s comedy feel about it, where.
But it's also teamed up with that dark side of like, I would say like Ginger Snaps.
Yeah.
It's Mean Girls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like that relationship between the two. I know they're not sisters, even though they say they're like sisters. But it's got that vibe. But that whole era is encapsulated in this movie. So many fucking flip phones over the place. So much emo rock all over the place. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, and there's like Fall Out Boy, I think, in amongst the soundtrack.
Yeah, posters.
Well, I mean, there was also some interesting stickers and stuff like. So I did.
Soundtrack's pretty cool, actually.
Soundtrack is very cool. Gallows was sort of like, there's a Gallows sticker and stuff like that as well. And there's a sticker in his room. Or
Gallows around about that time.
That's what I thought. 2009. I thought it was a bit early. But there was definitely some great music throughout, which is phenomenal. But does she become a siren? We obviously don't know that she's got a bit of the demon in. She turns up in that first night in a fucking absolute bloody mess.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. When she screams at her on the floor, she goes, Rah! That creeped me out.
Yeah, pukes up all that weird goo that she's got to clean up. I almost thought at one stage that if there's something that I've missed, and is she actually here? Is she there? Like, and it's not, and it's all Needy. Is that what's happening? But that wasn't what was happening. She was definitely there. She was definitely doing the killings. But I did but it did make you think like of a vampire and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I like the way as well she gets really starts looking really tired and ill when she's not eating.
Yeah.
She obviously she has to eat boys to rejuvenate, and she starts looking really tired and haggard, and then as soon as she like that other kill where she, the real sensitive emo kid that she lures to that house, and she just fucking murders him. And again, there's a lovely shot of just a silhouette of her just digging him out, and then when they cut back to it, she's just scooping his insides out, drinking the blood. It's fucking sick. Really,
really visceral and really impressive, level of special effects. I was really very, very impressed with that. And it's interesting that obviously the two throughout the movie don't really focus on the tragedy, which is quite interesting. And also the band, obviously the whole point in this movie and the reason why they kill her, that we find out later, is they're going through this weird online cult thing where they've got to kill a virgin. That's what they've got to do.
Sacrifice someone.
Yeah. And it's that's the whole point. If they don't kill a virgin, the demon ends up in the body to go on a sort of revenge spree, and that's what's happened because she's not actually a virgin. But they're still
doing it just to get success.
They do, and throughout the whole movie. If you focus on just the band alone, you get they are imprinted in the background and the foreground of all of this through the trees. It becomes
the anthem of the school, doesn't it? I love it when they're doing that little vigil and they're all holding the lights and they're all singing the song. You can't fucking get away from this fucking song. It's so funny.
Did she at one stage call the band a bunch of twats or something like that, and then they all they could just turn around and call her a cunt or something like that. I don't know. There was some weird thing they did. Yeah, but I do think the press at the time, important thing, maybe we'll talk about this later, the press ruined this movie concentrating on the sexuality.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit, because I've got a lot of big chunk of that is in Matt's facts.
Needy gets more confident throughout the movie, which is very cool. Evil Dead t-shirt in the infamous, kiss.
And a poster.
Yeah. My poster, the one I've got literally behind my
yeah.
But yeah, that infamous kiss. I mean, it is goddamn sexy.
Yeah. I mean, by no means it is. It's full on. It's like it's a really well done scene. They like it looks well. It is. It's real as fuck. I think Amanda Seyfried has even said like in quoted interviews that they both kiss in the same kind of way with tongues, so it made it even sexier. It's like it's a full on great. It's a great shot scene. It's a good shot.
In that scene, which is interesting, is she using her ability to sort of manipulate people?
I don't think so. I think that Jennifer is both ways.
Yeah, I think they're both. I think they've explored stuff in the past. That's what I think that's hinted at. I think in that kiss, but obviously at the same time she's thinking, what the actual fuck? You just gone. I know you've just gone around and killed.
I think it just dawns on her that she's like, hang on a minute, you just murdered loads of people and eaten loads of boys.
I'm not sure how I feel about this yet.
Yeah,
that's what she's kind of dealing with. Yeah, and she walks off with the Evil Dead t-shirt out the window into the night.
I would be having that back straight away.
But we get to see the sacrifice scene, which is the sacrifice scene itself is quite funny.
Yeah,
They don't really know what they're doing. I mean, there's a great look at Adam Brody's character where one of the band members goes, I don't know if we do it. And he says, all right, Troy, or whatever. And he's just like, behind his back, dude.
Do you want to be like Maroon 5 big? Do you want to earn some of that Adam Levine money? It's like, and he's like, yeah, okay, let's just do it. But yeah, that's fucking quality. And then like obviously we get to the kind of ending where Jennifer's gone for Needy's boyfriend.
Well, first before that, there obviously we get the infamous like prom, which the band is playing.
Yeah, again, can't go wrong.
But why is she wearing the most 80s prom
dress? It's hideous, isn't it? It's hideous.
Like those big fucking shoulder pads. It's like completely out of time. That's obviously got to be on touch with her personality, right? But it just felt so out of place. Yeah,
I don't know what was going on with that, but yeah, it's funny. It's weird.
It was an odd choice. But yeah, that whole, I don't know why this is going down that route, but obviously, she's obviously she's pissed with her friend, for almost wanting to knock or not really getting behind her. So she's going after her boyfriend, and she's gonna, to probably one of the best locations, and I think
this dressing on this set of this swimming pool was fucking phenomenal. I can't remember the guy's name. I think he's actually dead now in real life, but what a job. Apparently they took a brand new spanking recreational place and just literally not destroyed it. They just set dressed it all and turned the water a different colour and put all this stuff on. It looks fucking awesome. I thought it was brilliant.
It completely sets a tone of it's almost like it's almost like her nest. That's what it almost feels like. And, she's getting in the pool and she's fucking munching on him. And obviously Needy's coming to rescue her boyfriend, who's trying not to cheat, but he's definitely having a smooch, but he doesn't want to take it any further. But yeah, this is quite interesting when you get to almost see the demon powers, like levitating and all that. There's a beautiful line at the end of this as well. And I'm guessing I don't know if you got a tampon, look like you might need plugging.
Oh yeah. Do you have a tampon? You seem like you should be plugging. I love that line. I wrote that down as well. I love that line. Great one-liners.
Really good lines.
Yeah.
So they obviously have the inevitable fight. and then she takes it back to her room, which they're having a full-on fight in the...
She just fucking out and kills her boyfriend. It's like, he's fucking dead. And then the fucking funniest thing is that she just walks off. After being stabbed with a, like, pole, she's like, well, I'm done here. I've had enough. I'm just going to walk off. So she just fucking walks out, which is really weird.
But this gets quite dark, I suppose, because you almost like... So what we've come to understand is that she is being overpossessed by a demon, and we don't know if she's enjoying it. Looks like she's enjoying being what she is, but Needy has to kill her.
Yeah, she's had enough, hasn't she? She's like, you've overstepped that line now. You've just killed my boyfriend. Yeah.
But she's walked in on once she's stabbed her through the heart.
I love that bit. I was like, the whole levitation, fucking fight. She's slashing her like with this box cutter. Where'd you buy that box cutter? Home Depot?
Yeah.
So rich.
But it's like, her mum then comes in and she's just there. So obviously, she's going to get arrested.
Bang to rights.
There's no, like, you know, everyone's going to think...
It's a great scene, though, because, like, with the whole necklace falling off, as, like, the necklace comes off, the BFF necklace, and that's it, she comes crashing down and just gets her straight through the tit.
Yeah.
The heart.
It is a really, really satisfying sort of end, I guess. And then, obviously, then we go back to Needy being in it's these sort of end credit scenes afterwards. Get a nice cameo from Lance Henriksen as well at the end.
Thanks for spoiling Matt's facts, but there you go. Take that one off.
But like that whole sort of scene where she is killing the band, basically. She's going to kill the band.
Yeah, I like that little montage bit. I mean, I would have loved to seen her go to town on Adam Brody, because he's a dirtbag, isn't he, in this film? But I like it. It's kind of cool. It's like a Vegas hotel somewhere, and they're just getting partying, and you just see like little kind of shots of them in body bags and drowned in the bath, and he's been fucking stabbed through the heart with his boning knife, whatever it is. But yeah, I quite like that little tie up. Like at the end, it's quite cool, isn't it? Like revenge.
Quite satisfying until she gets away. She's escaped the mental hospital because, you know, effectively she's a demon, so she can do what the fuck she wants.
Oh yeah, she's kind of inherited some of the powers, not all of them, but some of them. I don't think she needs to eat people to stay alive, but she's got the like super strength and fucking. That's cool, isn't it?
I think that's
very. She can fly and levitate.
It's a very cool ending actually to the movie. Really, really very satisfying and tight.
The whole movie is so cool, and it's really stood up as well.
Yeah, I agree. Really stands up. But yeah, I think that's probably all I want to talk about. What I want to hear now is some Matt's facts. Yeah.
Before I go into that, I want to talk about. Well, I will go into Matt's facts straight away. But obviously, it's written by Diablo Cody, which originally her name was Brooke Moreau. So she changed her name because she was kind of bored of not getting noticed. So she changed it to Diablo Cody. And Diablo obviously means devil. And a lot of people have like looked into it and they're like, well, she's written this. It's more about kind of a lot about her life, about being two different people, like the nerdy, quiet one that doesn't get recognized as much. But then when you change your name, she gets recognized and kind of all the shit's happened in her life. It's almost like these two characters are two sides of kind of Diablo Cody, which I found really interesting, I thought.
That gives it a whole different dynamic.
Yeah, it's really, I thought that was just really interesting. But yeah, on to the biggest kind of facts. I'll start off with that first. The marketing strategy on this film. So, the marketing on this film, all of the marketers who did the marketing on this film, I'm going to say it about 1,000 times, were all male, funnily enough. And
really?
when they went into, apparently this is true, because this is well known, that happened, went into the marketing thing, right, how are we going to market this film? And they went 3 words, they said, Megan Fox hot. That's all they said.
And that's how all you
shit.
saw. And that's how you saw. That's why those leaked photos got out.
And this is why it's done so fucking. It flopped. It flopped at the cinema. It didn't do well at all. Posters got changed into the original posters. What they wanted was obviously a more horror side of it. They totally changed it to just Megan Fox in skimpy outfits, like with no really horror kind of things on there at all. And Paul's gonna reach one of his covers. Yeah. So that's not a bad cover. Do you know why? Because that cover, Paul's showing me the cover of where she's sat in front of the chalkboard, is totally ripped from another slasher movie. Called, I can't remember, forgive me for what it's called. So that cover's not so bad. I'll show you my cover that I got on my DVD, which was probably one of the ones they went with. And it's with her, with a cheerleader outfit with a bit of blood on her face with some cheesy quotes around her.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, that's all great. But anyway, so that was the first thing. So when they did a pre-show to an audience, right? They look at the demographic of what sort of people are going to watch this film. They test it out, see what it needs. Does it need more of this? Does it need more laughs? Does it need this? So in the screening, apparently more than half of the people in there were like frat boys that they showed it to in the screening. When they come out, they said, how do you feel about the film? What does it need? Does it need anything more? And they said, literally, most of them said more tits.
Jesus Christ.
Do you know what I mean? So they're showing it to these people. And this is the creme a la creme of the marketing crap that these people did. They went to Karen Kusama and said, oh, we want Megan Fox to literally go to be on a live chat on an amateur porn site. And this is fucking 100% true. And they were like, no way. Absolutely no. They stood their ground. Diablo Cody stood her ground. And we're not going to make her do that. We're not even going to tell her you've even entertained that. And that is 100% true from their mouths. That's just a fucking joke.
That just shows you what the industry is really like, or what they're trying to move away from now.
Absolutely. But this film has obviously now got legs, and it's completely different because it's got a lot more eyes on it. It is now, Megan Fox has come out and said that it's one of the best movies I've ever made. It's got so much about it. It's so different. It needs to be watched.
This is from the woman that did Jonah Hex and, Till Death.
Yeah. So, that's this Hollywood Shonda because of all the Transformers stuff, because literally she said how Michael Bay was Hitler and stuff like that, and then literally he just made her career float away, basically.
Well, he took her out of the third one, didn't he, and replaced her with the other model that he basically over-sexualized.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the negatives from it. The positives is it's come out now and it's a major cult movie and it's and it's run and it's right. Let's get on a good bit. So obviously we talked about the jaw of Megan Fox's character. That was all done with partly prosthetics, where she wore a kind of fake prosthetic. Bit of green screen was in there as well. They also did some special effects. But guess who did the special effects on the prosthetics?
Was it Robert Kurtzman?
No, it was Greg Nicotero.
Ooh, okay.
So our friend that we've met, of course. Little cameo in there from Diablo Cody. She was the bartender.
Cool.
Kind of cool. And apparently in real life she said that day was so boring she had to wait for 12 hours just for like a 2-second shot. Originally the character of Needy, Emma Stone was thought of for the character of Needy.
Could have worked. Similar. They definitely probably go up for a lot of similar roles.
Yeah, but around about that time as well. Obviously Lance Henriksen turned up, another guy that we've met. That was classic at the end. And a total of 18 kills.
Good kill count.
Which is quite good because a few people got offed at the fire. And then obviously all the killings and stuff. So yeah, that's my Matt's facts.
Awesome. I really enjoyed this bad boy. What would you...
You go first. You go first because I'm obviously loving this film.
9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, all day.
It's a fucking classic, man, in its own right.
This is the thing, like, on rewatching it, I'm so glad. It's been on my shelf and I bought it a while back And I saw it the first time round. But yeah, I think you're right. I think you're in a different, it was marketed and everything was different back then. And watching it now, I just implore people to go out and watch it because it's such a well-written, well-shot. I mean, Megan Fox's best performance by far. All-round great performances. I just enjoyed the movie so much, and I think everybody should go out and watch it. I didn't know it was on Disney Plus. Good shout. Go and watch it. If you've got Disney Plus, why the fuck? Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
All day.
All day. And it's the 1 hour 43 edition. So
exactly. Yeah. There you go.
Very
9 breaths out of 10 for Jennifer's Body. Anyway, enough about that. Of our loving of Megan Fox. What have you got for the vault next?
Wow, talking about, actresses that were, at the prime of being over-sexualized in horror.
Oh, God.
No. Well, I thought I needed a companion piece for Scream. So from one slasher to another, we are going to do Prom Night with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Ooh, I've seen this one for a while.
I've got it on VHS. That's my only copy.
Oh, yeah.
But I think you can watch it on Amazon Prime.
Okay, yeah, I think you're right. I think that might have been where I watched it, possibly. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's available on there, but I'm quite looking forward to this because, again, it's mentioned in the first Scream.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of Jamie Kennedy's many, many, many rules. So, yes, very much looking forward to going back and turning this one over after watching the new Scream and seeing what that's got to offer.
Absolutely.
Happy about that?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, that's episode 95 done. Moving on to episode 96. We have got an absolute treat. We are going to be watching the latest Scream movie starring the original cast, Neve Campbell, David Arquette, and Courtney Cox. I can't wait to see this bad boy. And I've just pulled out of the vault another slasher, Prom Night with Jamie Lee Curtis. Cracking job. Well, that's another episode. Thanks for listening, guys. If you want to get in touch, the social media is on at the end. There's only one more thing to say. When there's no more room in hell, here's another podcast.
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
You can follow us on Twitter @DrawOneLast, Instagram @DrawOneLastBreath, or pop us an email at drawonelastbreathpod@hotmail.com.